Hey everyone, welcome back to the iHeart Podcast. My name is Jonathan North, and today we're doing something a little different than usual. I've asked my friend and fellow animation fan Rachel Wagner to join me, and we're going to be talking about Pixar's new SparkShorts series, which will be coming to the new Disney streaming service, Disney+. Pixar SparkShorts is an anthology series of shorts produced by Pixar artists just for the sake of art. These are separate from their main series of theatrical shorts, and as such, the animators have basically been given free rein to do whatever they want with them, allowing them to get more creative and more experimental in their storytelling. The first 3 episodes of this new series were released on YouTube, along with some behind-the-scenes material, so I thought it would be fun to get together with Rachel and talk about them in anticipation of the new series. So the first one we'll talk about is Pearl by Kristen Lester. That was the first one released probably a couple months ago now. They've kind of staggered the release. There were 3 so far, and Pearl was the first. I guess for people who may not have seen these, they're on YouTube, so go to YouTube and watch them if you haven't. But this one is about a ball of yarn who joins the corporate world, and it seems to be an allegory for, I don't know if all women in the workplace, but specifically Kristen Lester's experience when she tried to join the workforce. The company she joined was like really male oriented, and she felt like she had to become one of the guys in order to fit in. So basically that's what Pearl is about, except it's a ball of yarn instead of a girl.
Well, it's obviously an allegory. Yeah. I felt like it was saying way more than even just her particular story, but just with what's happened with Pixar, I felt like it was kind of an apology in a lot of ways that we're going to do better. And because we basically found out through the whole John Lasseter thing that it was kind of a boys club. And we kind of knew that a little bit from what happened to Brenda Chapman with Brave. But as things since the problems with John Lasseter kind of were unearthed, we found out it was a lot more of a boys club than we wanted to admit, and that people were kind of protecting him and were instead of protecting the women. And so I took it as a real kind of a gutsy move on everybody's part to kind of say, look, this is what we were, this is what was happening, and we're turning over a new leaf. We're going to do better, and we're going to be more accepting.
I thought that at the very first 2, and then I watched the behind the scenes. Kristen, a lot of people put their own ideas into here, but Kristen Lester, who came up with this, said that this was based, the overall idea was based specifically on her experience joining the animation world, which she said got significantly better once she joined Pixar. So I'm wondering if Pixar is such a boys club, or was such a boys club, wherever she worked before must have been really awful.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, not from what I've heard about a lot of the industry, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So, did you like the short overall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my favorite of the 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was the most emotionally true, and as a woman, I definitely related to the feeling, and I definitely related to being in a toxic workforce. And whenever there's anything about sort of work as a theme, it almost always rings true for me, because I had my own kind of miserable experience with a job, and so whether I quit, and it was a real defining moment of my life, and so I relate to those themes, and so even though it was a ball of yarn, it was obviously more than a ball of yarn, and so that's right up my alley.
Okay. I would say this is probably not anything against the short itself, because I did like it. This is probably my least favorite, but only because I really connected with the other 2 more. But overall, I thought that this was creative, and I did like it. The only, I guess my main problem with it which is my main problem with most allegories, is that it seemed slightly too on the nose at times. It started out with BRO capital, bro capital, which kind of annoyed me, because it's I don't know. I like it when these kind of things are like understated, but I can understand why they went for the on the nose approach.
I don't know. It's a short. You don't have that much
Yeah.
time. I'm
That's
fine with it.
yeah. That's why I wasn't too upset. That was just like my one main nitpick was, but that's my main nitpick with just about any allegory, because I don't know. It always seems like people can't write things in subtly. They have to make it too obvious what they're going for. But like I said, I understand why they went for that approach with this one. I forgot I had one other nitpick about it. She made a joke about spiders crocheting or not crocheting webs, something like that. But she mentioned specifically that the joke was about needles. But when you crochet, you do not use needles. You use a hook. And I know that because I knit and I can't crochet because I can't figure out the hook. I was like, she need to do a teeny bit more research on what crochet is before writing a crocheting joke.
That's funny.
So, was the women in the industry the only thing that you got out of this? Because I noticed two different themes.
That was and I just felt like it was, we'll do better. That's how I felt. Like, and I'm like, okay, good. This is good to see that they're doing this. And overall, just on the part of the three shorts together, they were very encouraging to me, because once these sort of current projects get done, I feel like this is such a good sign coming out of Pete Docter's leadership, that he's encouraging this, and that he's encouraging the new ideas and new people working on these things, because it was interesting. The director, I can't think of her name, of the Bow short, said that Pete Docter was her main sort of mentor and really encouraging her. And that was, some people didn't like it, but that was a very original short. And that's making me very happy. And I wouldn't expect anything less from Pete Docter, but it's just nice to see the little inklings of his leadership, I think, coming out already.
Yeah, from what I've heard about Pixar, Pete Docter was like the best choice to take over.
Yeah. And I was a little bit worried when I heard that he was getting, they were going to be the replacement. Of course, I adore Pete Docter. I've absolutely loved all three of his movies. And I don't want him to stop making movies because he has the burden of leadership, but hopefully he will keep doing both. But this was just really made me happy to see all three of these and just think, okay, we're getting back, hopefully, to kind of where we once were with these new, fresh ideas. And I have liked all of the sequels pretty much that they have done at Pixar, but I am very excited about the idea of more Pete Docter inspired original films coming from the whole team. So I was just very thrilled with really all three of these for that reason alone.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what kind of things they come out with now. The more creativity.
Yeah, but the other thing about the Pearl is that even just her coloring was so different than the others, and it was interesting that I can only imagine it would be very much so in animation, because when I worked in graphic design back in college, it never failed that I would design something with a certain color scheme that I liked and I found attractive, like very purples and dark blues and pinks and things like that my eye was attracted to. And it never failed. When I would show it to the guys, they would always want it to be orange and blue. Orange and blue. No. Then I showed him an orange and blue. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And I can only imagine that as an animator, there are going to be, that could be really frustration. That could be very frustrating when you try to show a sort of, not that all girls like a certain thing, but it was a thing that I knew, that I saw in my job, that all the women almost always liked a different color scheme than the men. And so it just makes me think that it must be frustrating sometimes as an animator, as a female animator, to have a certain aesthetic, to have a certain style, to have a certain way of doing things like Pearl had, but it just is not part of this. It's just different, because we're not the same, men and women. no matter what people try to tell you. And anyway, so I thought that was interesting, that she was bright pink. And then you see these other, and some people might think, oh, that's gender stereotyping or whatever. But I don't know, in my experience, it's true. And I can only imagine that sort of her softer colors, as a softer feel as a ball of yarn coming into this work environment, that is pretty true to being an animator in a male dominated profession, which it is. And how your view of what's pretty and what's effective could be just kind of trampled upon. And anyway, so I was like, yeah, that's right. I totally get it. So.
Well, I was going to say too that the other main thing that I saw in this was there seemed to be a really strong message about changing yourself in order to fit in.
Yeah.
Like with Pearl, she basically knitted herself into something slightly closer to what the guys were.
Right.
And by the end, she realized that she had kind of lost herself because of changing what she was so much when the next ball of yarn started working. And she decided to go back to who she was before. And I really liked that. Kristen Lester, one of her quotes in the making of video that I watched, talked about how she realized that since she was basically one of the only women where she worked, she said after she joined Pixar, she was working with a lot more women than she ever had before. And she said it made her realize how much she had changed herself and how much of the female part of herself she had buried in order to fit in at this other place.
Right.
Which I thought that was really interesting and a good secondary message to the short that more people can relate to. Like, don't change yourself to fit in with a bunch of other people.
Agreed.
Okay, I think that was all my thoughts about Pearl. Did you have any final thoughts? Or
no, I mean, that basically covers it. I really like anything that's kind of about themes of work and the workforce and all that. So it really spoke to me.
Okay, the second short that was released is Smash and Grab by Brian Larson. This one, until I saw the last short, I thought that there's no way that anything could beat this short. I loved this one so much because, you know me, I love sci-fi things. And I just loved these two little robots. Basically, for people who may not have seen it, the short is about two robots who are running a train. They are very specialized. One is chipping away at a block of stuff that becomes fuel, tosses it to one who throws it into the furnace, and that's all they do. That's their entire life. But they can see out the train windows that there's these other robots who are free, and they decide, well, one of them decides that he's going to escape, and he eventually finds a way to break his friend out, and they evade security robots and escape the train and get their freedom in the end. And it seems like really simple, but there's just something about these robots that I just loved. Their character design, the way they moved, everything about them, just they had so much personality, and I just really loved them.
I thought this one seemed like the most classic Pixar. Like an old school short to me from Pixar. I enjoyed it. It was cute enough. It wasn't as interesting to me as the Pearl one.
It wasn't as deep. It didn't have as many messages. It was just basically about wanting freedom, I guess. Yeah. Freedom and friendship. But overall, I loved the short. I don't know. The music, sound effects, I love the robot voices. I just loved it. It was just
so. Watch it again. I watched it fairly quickly.
Another thing that I thought was interesting about it too was in the behind the scenes, they animated the robots with motion capture. Which is that something that Pixar has done before? Because I was under the impression that Pixar didn't even use motion capture.
Yeah, I kind of was too. I did like the weird way that the train kind of split apart. That was sort of weird.
I can understand why they went with motion capture for the robots, because once I saw the people moving and I recognized them instantly as the way the robots moved, it fit. It made the robots seem more human, even though the people were purposely moving in a non-human way, like waddling and walking strangely. I thought it was really a really creative choice as a way to animate the robots.
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
So then we get to the last one, which is Kit Bull by Rosie Sullivan. Once I saw this one, I was like, oh, Smash and Grab isn't my favorite anymore. I loved the short. And this is another one, like if Smash and Grab was unique at Pixar for using motion capture, this is unique at Pixar for being a 2D animated film, which is not something that Pixar does. I think they did like one sort of educational short for Ratatouille that was...
They had that, and they had Night and Day, which was kind of like that.
Night and Day was sort of hybrid, though, wasn't it? Because there was like 3D inside 2D.
Yeah.
This one is
kind of in that thing, but
this one is like all 2D. It's built within a 3D environment in the computer based on the behind the scenes stuff, but it's all hand animated, hand drawn stuff. I loved the design for this one.
It was really cute, for sure.
To fill people in on the backstory, it's about a little kitten who befriends an abused pit bull and helps him escape his cruel master. And it's another one. It's a really simple idea, but it was executed so well that I just absolutely loved it.
It was really cute, no doubt. That little doggy was adorable. And it was very sad.
One thing that I noticed, though, was, and I guess we could probably circle this back to Pearl, too. It seemed not really more adult, but slightly more mature. With Pearl, it was, they were talking about a mature subject and there was some mature language.
They did have a certain maturity to them, I think, particularly these two that you're talking about. There was a certain mature tone. It kind of reminded me of the Western one with the clocks that was also made by some Pixar animators.
Oh, I think I remember that. That was a while ago. I think it had a
Borrowed Time. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of that in the sense of it was something different and experimental and a little more mature.
This one wasn't more mature in the language aspect or the themes aspect. It was more mature in that it was slightly more violent than I was expecting with the way the dog was abused. Like there was like actual blood on him from his... I think he was being used in a dog fight. It wasn't shown, but I'm pretty sure that's what they were implying. It really helped just pull you in and make you really feel for this dog. And it really made you see him through the eyes of the kitten, because the kitten at the beginning is horrified of everything. Like everything scares the kitten. But once the kitten sees the way this dog is being treated, they eventually become friends and he helps him escape. It wasn't like over the top graphic, but it was just enough to let you know the severity of the situation.
Yeah. It was a very sweet little short. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked that dog and that cat. They were very cute too.
Rosie Sullivan, the person who came up with the idea of the short, her original idea was to make something like fun and feel good, and she was inspired by cat videos she was seeing online. But she said it eventually evolved into something more personal for her, because growing up she was very shy and had trouble making friends, and that eventually kind of got incorporated into the cat video idea, and this eventually became a story that was more personal and touched on a little bit of a deeper theme than just a cute cat video.
Yeah, I can see that.
I also I loved the end when they both get adopted.
That was really cute.
A very cute ending.
It was really cute. Adopt, don't shop, as they say.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I have. That's the only 3 SparkShorts that have been released so far. There will be more released eventually on Disney Plus, and I probably will want to cover those once they come out. So maybe we'll have to come back and we can talk about them again.
I wonder if we're going to get something in front of Toy Story 4. They're going to give us some kind of short. We haven't heard anything of anything, but
they usually release a short.
They usually do, but they don't always do.
That's true. We didn't get one with Coco.
Well, yeah, but then I forget which ones, but there have been ones that had no short at all. Not even a Disney long short that people hate.
I think that it's been a while if they haven't done one.
Yeah, I know that there have been some that haven't had one, but anyway, most have, and but they haven't announced one yet, and so it'll be interesting to see if they do.
I hope they do. That's one of the reasons that I look forward to Pixar movies, because you get the little bonus at the beginning.
Yeah, it's really fun. Do you have a favorite of all their shorts?
I'd have to go through the titles and see what. I'm sure I do. I like a lot of them. I like the bunny. I can't think of the name.
Bounden?
No, I don't like that one. Presto. That one. I like that one.
Oh, I like Bounden. I think it's cute. I don't dislike any of them, actually. The one that I like the best is called La Luna. It's my favorite.
That one's cute.
The kids scooping the stars off of the moon. That's really, really good, I think.
I liked Lava, too. Lava was good.
Yeah, Lava was really good. Because I love anything Hawaii, so. And that song was just like my song that summer.
I know this isn't necessarily a theatrical short, but I loved the recent one that was included with Incredibles 2, Auntie Edna. That one was so good.
Oh, yeah.
So hilarious.
That was really, really, really good. I guess maybe if I had to pick a least favorite, I might go with, I don't know, maybe One Man Band, but I still like it. It's cute.
Oh, that one. I do like that one, actually. So I love the music in that one. The music is the reason that I like that one so much.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. It's probably my least favorite, though. But,
yeah, there's none that I really dislike either.
Yeah, they're all fun. Even some of the old ones are really good. Tin Toy. And
the earliest few I still haven't seen.
Oh, you should.
I need to get their DVDs so I can make sure I see them all.
Well, soon it'll all be on Disney Plus, which is exciting. But but Red's Dream was my favorite old one about this little unicycle at this shop, and he has dreams of being in the circus. That one I really like.
I'd heard the title of that one, but I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah, it's really good. They get a lot through lighting and shadowing and stuff like that. It's so early on. It's amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking forward to that one on Disney Plus as well.
And somebody saw in the Toy Story 4 trailer, you could see in one of the scenes at the carnival there was Tin Toy from Tin Toy there.
Yeah, I saw like a thumbnail or something where someone had circled.
Yeah. I also love Jerry's Game. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, that one we watched so many times because we would borrow A Bug's Life from the library. We loved Jerry's Game.
Yeah, it's really good.
Watch that one over and over again. And then he shows up in Toy Story 2, and that was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, cool. Well, it's so fun to talk about these. I love animated shorts. It was really fun. I did a animated film for every year that I've been alive video, which was very fun to do. And for some of those years in the 80s, there were no feature films, like none. And so I had to just watch shorts. And it actually was kind of fun to watch these old shorts from the 80s and then pick some that I liked. And that was kind of a fun experience. So it's always cool to look at shorts.
Yeah, that would make for a cool podcast too, just watching old shorts from the 80s.
Yeah, it really would. So, cool. Well, thanks for having me on your channel.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. This was fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes, definitely.
You want to let people know where they can find you?
Yes, check me out at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, and on iTunes and YouTube. And you find tons of good animation videos. The way I do interviews. Also, I have the Hallmarkies Podcast for all things Hallmark, and it's really fun.
Okay. Well, I guess we will see you next time.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the iHeart Podcast. As always, I will have links to all of Rachel's projects below, including her brand new podcast, Talking Disney. This is a spin-off series from her main podcast where she and her friend, Stanford Clark, get together to talk about Disney movies. I figured listeners to this podcast might be particularly interested in her new show, so if you're as big an animation and Disney fan as we are, make sure you check that out. Next week, I'll be joined by my friend Eli Sanza, and we're going to be doing another new kind of show. We're going to be talking about all our favorite movies and TV from last year, but in the format of a sort of informal awards show, like a casual Oscars, but only about things we care about. We had a lot of fun recording it, and we're excited to share it with you. We'll see you then.